I'm Dana Jacobson from CBS Saturday Morning. Welcome to The Dish. Today we're exploring mouth-watering Mediterranean cuisine. We'll be bouncing around the New York City area quite a bit in this episode, but we begin at Meadow Sweet Restaurant in Brooklyn, where our Michael George got a taste of the countryside in the big city.
Chef Polo Dobkin trained with some of New York's top chefs, but now at his Brooklyn restaurant Meadow Sweet, he's found his own voice. And he expresses that voice by letting his ingredients do the talking.
Seasonality, simplicity, and really letting flavors kind of speak for themselves. Try not to have anything be overwrought or overworked.
Sourcing some of his best ingredients from his dad's own garden in the Hudson Valley.
He has a very green thumb. When we first opened, we just started basically working together, planting and bringing down, going up every weekend and bringing down produce. And we basically create our menus on a weekly basis.
His creations, modern American cuisine with Mediterranean inspiration, like these crispy baby artichokes topped with shaved lemon, Parmesan, and a creamy garlic dressing.
Oh, this is great. It tastes very fresh.
The born and raised New Yorker was already helping in the kitchen at the age of 5.
Who did the cooking growing up?
My father did most of the cooking, and then when I got to a certain age, I just kind of started helping out.
Did you have the bug from the beginning, or did it take time to grow?
Well, you know what, looking back on it, I think I had the bug from the beginning.
And that bug led him to volunteer at a culinary school while paying the bills as a bike messenger.
I just started volunteering, 1 day a week, then 1 day a week led to 2 days a week, and then 2 days a week led to 3 days a week. And when I got to that point, I told myself that I should probably just get a job in a restaurant and see how it goes.
He studied at the French Culinary Institute and worked at New York's Gramercy Tavern and Dressler.
Dressler was a wonderful restaurant, one of the first to get a Michelin star in Brooklyn, sort of ahead of its time, if you want to say. Back then it was just us, Peter Luger's and Diner in this neck of the woods.
His wife Stephanie, who now helps run Meadow Sweet, came up with the idea of starting their own place.
She pushed really hard to go out on her own, which takes a lot of courage. It took a while to persuade me to do it.
Why did it take some arm twisting?
It's just, leaving your comfort zone and doing something as risky as opening a restaurant can take a lot.
They chose to set up in Williamsburg, in the exact spot where Dobkin earned his first Michelin star at Dressler.
You could have picked any location to start your own place.
Yeah.
You chose here.
The energy, both from the people who live here and the people that decide to work here, the creative energy is through the roof.
At Meadow Sweet, customers get familiar dishes with some surprises, like this burrata with figs, pistachio basil pesto, and pickled kumquats, and Tyrene pasta with chanterelle mushrooms and shaved summer truffle.
That is fantastic. It's so creamy, it's rich.
Well, this one's all about we're going for decadence.
By putting an emphasis on seasonality, Meadow Sweet earned a Michelin star just months after opening.
What did that mean to you?
It was meant the world. It was hoping that inspectors would come. It was hoping to get a Michelin star. Did not expect to get it that quickly, and we've been blessed to be able to keep it for as long as we have.
His dishes, with their vibrant colors and flavors, evoke images of summer, like Scottish salmon on a bed of black rice with coconut curry.
Oh, this is different. This is not what I was expecting.
We make a fresh green curry in-house and just infuse a little bit of coconut or infuse a little coconut milk with it. And that's the foundation for the dish.
Like the food, the indoor herb garden might make you forget for a moment you're in the middle of New York City.
It feels like a little taste of the country here in the city.
Well, that was definitely part of the plan of the design.
Using fresh, simple dishes.
Oh, who's not going to love that? That's amazing.
To take diners on an escape to the countryside.
Tell me about the customers here. What do you want them to feel when they come into Meadow Sweet?
We want them to feel comfortable, relaxed, happy, and looking forward to a wonderful meal.
Coming up, we head to the Windy City to meet a renowned top chef at his debut restaurant. This is The Dish. Chef Joe Flamm added a culinary crown to his resume when he won the cooking show Top Chef in 2018. Since then, he opened his restaurant Rosemary in Chicago's West Loop, where he fuses the flavors of Italian and Croatian cuisine. Here's Nancy Chen.
In this former meatpacking district just off the Chicago River is a culinary voyage to the sun-drenched shores of the Dalmatian coast. At Rosemary, dishes exploring Italian-Croatian cuisine brim with faraway flavors, yet familiar experiences. Helmed by Chef Joe Flam.
So you say that you serve Adriatic drinking food. What is that exactly?
It's either things that make you, kind of thirsty to have a glass of wine, or things you would want to have with some wine, or things maybe you would have because you've had a little bit too much wine.
It's a distinct craving inspired by traveling. Flam aims to satisfy one plate at a time.
That's what we wanted this to be. That place where you walked by, you felt an energy coming off, and you're like, we gotta go in.
Yeah.
You stop in and you have that moment in time, right?
The ambitious target is rooted in Flam's love of both his native Chicago and family. Rosemary is named after his grandmothers, as well as the fragrant herb that grows along the coast of Italy and Croatia, where his wife's family is from.
The connective tissue between those two places is so rich and thick, you don't need to fuse the two. They've already been doing it for hundreds of years.
That journey includes the Croatian staple of grilled clams. But in true Windy City fashion, Flams are dressed in butter, married with smoked ramps, a type of wild onion said to have given Chicago its name.
Cheers.
Cheers. Do you do that with clams? That's very good.
Flam also prefers to start a big feast with the Little Gem salad.
You get the sweet brightness of the radishes that come through, a little bit of that kind of salty nuttiness from the cheese, and then that like creamy, just buttery kaimak underneath. That it's just like that rich, almost like, ranch dressing quality to it of, a proper Midwestern salad.
You're trying to evoke ranch dressing in your own way.
We are who we are. We know who we are here. We're not afraid of it.
Then there are hearty favorites like the pork ribs papanella and scradine risotto, known as 12-hour risotto, for the time it takes to perfect, inspired by Flam's wife's family recipe.
We braise veal breast, we pick it, we take that liquid, we cook the rice down with that, Parmigiano, grilled chicken thighs on top of it.
That's a lot of flavor to pack into one dish.
It is.
And not a single drop of that flavor is to be wasted, which is why Flam bakes bread with a recipe native to Croatia, fresh each morning.
So this is our house-made Lipinja bread. So this took us a really long time to figure out. There's not a lot of places that make this bread. It's shaped like a pita. It's kind of cooked like a pita, but it's also the interior structure of it's completely different. It's got the chew and crumb of a real bread. And then we use this as just a mop for pastas.
A bread mop is just perfect.
My favorite kind of mop.
That bread and much of the ever-evolving menu is prepared on a charcoal hearth, custom designed and inspired by the large grills Flam would spot at roadside canobas, cozy taverns dotting the Croatian coast. Their smoke would often remind Flam of barbecue in Chicago's summertime.
You're talking about bringing in Midwestern hospitality into a restaurant that specializes in Italian and Croatian food.
Yeah, but I think those all connect. I think that, very Italian style of hospitality is also that Midwest style of hospitality. It's welcoming, it's warm, it's, inviting. People want you to eat, they want you to stay.
A sense of being home, even as Flam introduces a new cuisine to diners.
Croatian cuisine really isn't known that much in the United States.
And I think that was part of the thing that interested me about it. I was like, this food is familiar. I was like, I feel like I could cook this. It was like, not saying like, oh, I'm the foremost expert on Balkan cuisine now, but of like, I know how to cook Italian food, and I want to use it to tell a story that I'm also trying to find out.
I think it's interesting that you call these dishes stories.
I love cooking with people and just listening to them. Like, oh, why are you cooking this? Years of cooking with my grandmother and spending time in the kitchen with her.
Flam calls his Italian grandmother Mary his first culinary influence before going on to train in some of Chicago's top restaurants, including Michelin-starred Spiaggia and Stephanie Izzard's Girl and the Goat. He's also cooked in some of Italy's top kitchens, refining his skills to bring classics back home.
We're making cacio e pepe today. One of my favorites.
Cacio e pepe is so simple, but sometimes really hard to perfect.
Well, I think anything that's simple, there's nothing to hide behind, right? So it's all technique.
Flam's technique also includes a sense of hospitality, hard to miss.
Is there such thing as too much cheese?
Think of Midwestern amount of cheese.
Oh, well then, let's just dump that all.
There you go. That's perfect.
That generous spirit helped vault Rosemary instantly into one of Chicago's hottest reservations when it opened its doors.
What has this journey meant to you?
I mean, everything. We're literally sitting in my dream right now. I get to do something that I love, that I'm super passionate about. It's a part, this little community and this industry is so important to me.
How has the South Side of Chicago shaped you?
It's definitely very much who I am. It's in your blood. You're from there, you live there, you die there. It's who we are. It's a tight-knit community. It's community-focused. It's family-focused.
For Flam, that determination has paid dividends.
One of the grandmothers that your restaurant is named after has been here.
Yeah, my grandma Mary, she doesn't live far from here. She comes in quite a bit.
What does it mean to her that you named this restaurant after her?
Well, I'm one of 24 grandchildren on that side, but I think I'm just trying to cement my position as #1 grandchild.
Do you think you've done that?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not even close.
You might call the Lavanos family masters of Mediterranean cuisine. They've opened multiple Greek restaurants over the last 50 years. Michelle Miller took a trip just north of New York City to grab a bite.
We all know how to cook. We all have culinary backgrounds. All we do is eat, think, drink, food. We're cooking away at home all together.
For the Lavanos clan, nothing means more than the Greek traditions brought to this country by their patriarch John and Chrissa, the family matriarch.
You went from washing dishes to your own restaurant in, what, 3 years?
I opened 14 restaurants up to now in my whole life.
It's a lot.
Yes. I was putting 14, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. My first vacation was 7 years later.
He worked his vacation, so he will have that extra money. I was very patient, and I think I did a good job.
I think you did.
Their legacy started with a luncheonette. It's since expanded to more elegant fare, focusing on Mediterranean seafood.
What is it about the food business you love?
I enjoyed making new dishes. I always talk with my chefs. I emphasize a lot on seafood, fresh fish.
Fresh.
Always.
Speaking of food here, let's just kind of go through the realm of what we have.
You see what we would be eating day after Christmas. Our spanakopita, the most classic of all Greek dishes, is pasticcio, which is a baked macaroni ground meat bechamel dish. My mom's famous peas and artichokes with fresh dill and onions. Always beets with parsley, a little extra virgin olive oil, a nice bitter radicchio salad, and rack of lamb with a Dijon mustard breadcrumb crust.
The second generation put its own spin on the New York dining scene with Molivos and Oceana in Midtown.
So the kids kicked it up a notch.
Yes, they did.
Nick, the eldest sibling, graduated from the Culinary Institute of America and soon opened the Lavanos restaurant with his brother Bill. His younger sister Karina wasn't far behind.
I just graduated, and I was fortunate. I had a few months off, and I'll never forget, in the fall of 1992, Nick said, I just need someone to help me at front of the house. Just help me. Just give me till the holidays, and that's it. And I never left.
Reeled you right in, didn't
Reeled me right in.
We all live next to each other.
Very close, all over.
So it's like my big fat Greek wedding.
Yes, true.
Almost, yeah.
The only thing we don't do the lamb in the front. We do it in the back.
Cheers.
The Greek diners of the tri-state area are legendary. Up next, we check out a few of the epic eateries. You're watching The Dish. Is it the food, the culture, or the family atmosphere of Greek diners that captures our imagination and tantalizes our taste buds? Back in 2016, famed chef Bobby Flay visited a few to find out.
You know those times when you're hungry but can't decide what to order? What will it be? Pancakes or paella? A burger or brisket?
Give me a corned beef Reuben.
No problem. Whatever makes your mouth water is almost certainly found at a Greek diner. All right, so let me just get this right. So you're gonna have the crab meat stuffed fillet, the French dip, You're gonna have a cheeseburger.
2 cheeseburgers, 1 LT, the other one deluxe medium rare.
And then you said
Pancakes?
chocolate chip pancakes.
Yeah,
I got it.
yes.
That's gonna be my order today.
Good stuff.
All right, I'll get back to you.
Enjoy, it's always good here.
Thank you.
Good food, cheap prices, and fast service keep the Bel Air Diner in Astoria, Queens packed, with customers choosing from 1,500 different homemade items on the massive, get this, 18-page menu. How do they do this? How do they have your French toast with your vanilla apples, and then have popcorn shrimp, seafood paella, and then they have a whole like Mexican corner, some Greek specialties. There's a burger list of like 30 different burgers. Do you have any idea how they do this? What's the magic?
But it kind of moves like a well-oiled machine. It's just like all the moving parts just happen and it's magic.
There's no explanation for it. That's just the way it is. Greek diner, boom. So what is the secret? It starts with this man, Archie Delaportis, a quiet but demanding head of the family whose restaurant has been named Best Diner in New York City. He came from Greece when he was 16, hoping for a better life.
You have to work.
You have to work.
You own the diner, you gotta work more
You're a slave
than
to the
8
place.
hours.
He met his wife Patty while working in her dad's diner. Do you think the Greek work ethic is a big part of why diners are successful?
Yes. He's here 20 years, hasn't taken a day off, really.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
10 omelets right here.
Their oldest son, Cal, says another secret to success is experienced short order cooks who use a few simple ingredients, chicken, eggs, beef, and potatoes to make most dishes fast. So you got the burger going, somebody else does set up the plate, and you call down there for the eggs.
Yes.
And then it all comes together on one plate.
Exactly.
See, that's what I'm talking about. These are the little things that don't necessarily get done in like a regular restaurant. Pick up. Now, Cal, along with his siblings, Peter and Theone, are being groomed to take over when Archie puts his feet up, if they can handle it. Do these guys have the work ethic that you have?
When they get here.
No way?
When they come
get
here, when they hear.
When they're here.
When they hear,
But getting them here sometimes is hard.
it's very
You
hard
have to call them up, get up out of bed?
Of course.
Are you guys willing to put in the hours he thinks it takes to be successful in this business?
There are 2 of us. So yeah, we'll split his hours down the middle. Then yeah, sure, that's perfect.
Still, despite the grueling hours, there's a reason they keep coming back.
My father worked so hard to get it where it is. It's part of our lives. Like, we grew up in the diner. It's a part of my life, and I want to thank it for for what it's given me.
It's a sentiment found in many family-run restaurants. But why are so many diners run by Greeks?
That initial wave of immigrants, they come over, open diners, and then their brothers, their cousins, their sisters come over. Where do they get jobs? In the diner. The Greeks just sort of take over diners.
Food critic Pete Genovese literally wrote the book on the subject. He says Greeks brought ideas from the homeland.
They didn't call it a diner, they called it a cafignon. It's a place where the locals hung out. It's basically a glorified coffee shop, a lot of open air. It's the place to meet your buddies there, and most importantly, it's a place to find out what was going on in the community.
Gossip.
Exactly. Local news, local gossip. What is it, and what is the American diner today? That's exactly the first place you go if you want to find out who's doing what to whom, this local scandal, who's about to get indicted.
All right, so we got the specials for tonight.
For Nick and Maria Callis, children of Greek immigrants, a community family place is all they've ever known.
Our parents owned the diner together in Edison, and we basically grew up together. And my father was the front guy, and her father was the chef in the back. And our families knew each other.
The couple bought the nearly 100-year-old Broad Street Diner in Keyport, New Jersey.
I always loved these little stainless steel diners. Always wanted one. I got a phone call, and we came down, and we had breakfast, and that was it. We said yes, definitely. I loved it. I fell in love with it, the town, everything.
Maria works the till. You seem like you know everybody.
We do. It's really family friendly.
Nick works the grill.
This is a special for today. We do a Greek combo. Chicken souvlaki, tzatziki, spinach pie, and a baby Greek salad.
Oh, I want that to go.
$9.95.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
$9.95.
And it sells out. It's great.
Of course it sells out. You're giving it away for free.
This is the best diner in New Jersey!
No wonder Pete Genovese named it the #1 diner in New Jersey, beating out nearly 600 others. Quite an accomplishment, considering the state is the diner capital of the world. What do you attribute to your success?
My wife.
And with 3 boys, Nick and Maria Callis already have the next generation lined up.
If they
like it or not.
I don't know if I would push him to it, but given what I've seen, just with family, with us, once you get in the door, it's really
hard to get out.
It's really hard to get out, it is.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news 24/7, stream us right here on CBS News. I'm Dana Jacobson. We'll see you next time for another helping of The Dish.